Noche UFC is going down in Las Vegas this weekend, and I'm pumped to see who comes out on top. I've partnered up with DraftKings, and they got an offer that is perfect if you're looking to get closer to the action. Right now, all new customers that bet just $5 will instantly get $250 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. When you sign up, use my promo code SONNEN. DraftKings, the crown is yours. That's $250 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Staying on the action and use your $250 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun at DraftKings with daily fantasy and have a shot at all the prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers, use my promo code SONNEN, bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code SONNEN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. There's a guy on the Contender Series. Dana White Contender Series guy, he's getting his hands wrapped. He's got a fight coming up. And I've been to the venue, right? Venue feels like a very cold place. You've got a couple of rooms. The fighters are in one of the two. When they're warming up, you can hear them warming up. If they start hitting or kicking focus mitts, you can hear that. When you walk into the arena, it's not packed. You hear every word. You hear every sound. And it's just a unique experience, which in the middle of a day, on a work day. I mean, could you guys imagine that? Like on a Tuesday, at 3 o'clock, you're gonna get in a fight. You've probably envisioned yourself being in a fight before, right? Some of you thought it was cool. Some of you were scared to death, but you probably envisioned yourself. But it most likely was something like on a Friday or Saturday night in an alley or at a dark club, or it somehow started in that scenario before it spilled out into the street. Imagine a Tuesday where everybody's sober, everybody's fine. Oh, by the way, the sun is still shining. Like, you've probably never envisioned yourself in a fight in those kind of circumstances. So, you want to talk about being alone with your thoughts. It's one of these very interesting situations. And a gentleman comes in from Brazil, and the guy had a bunch of fights, I want to say 13. The guy has a win over Alex Pereira. And this is from a number of years ago, but can we admit, just on what you've heard so far, this is one of the elite. There's a special guy. This is a tough and dangerous guy. He's getting his hands wrapped. And at some point in that process, he says, I'm out. Take the wraps off. Bring Sean Shelby and, hey, this isn't for me. I'm out. And the guy did not fake an illness or an injury. I appreciate that. I got to tell you. There's not very many times where a guy does get sick and or gets hurt. By the way, that is just the one renowned excuse that you can feed and you guys accept it. I'm hurt. Well, I don't blame you. Call me back when you feel better. It's like, that's not how it works in real life. That is absolutely not how it works. And it's always been accepted, and you can kick the can, you can go to another day. You can reserve, they call it squatting on your spot. You have a spot on the roster in that division. You know deep down, man, this isn't for me, but I like the hype. I haven't figured out a way out yet. My coaches and managers, my wife, everybody around me, they don't know my secret yet, which is I hate doing this and I don't want to do this. Moreover, I'm not going to do it. And instead of making that reveal so they could give that opportunity to somebody else, these guys hide behind illness and injury. Happens often. Just didn't happen with this guy. He's getting his hands right, and he realized, I'm out. I don't know of very many guys that enjoyed the lifestyle of fighting or enjoyed being in a locker room before a fight, where that was a fine moment. They did not mind. In fact, they even enjoyed it. In fact, off the top of my head, I can only name two for you that I've ever encountered. Chris Lieben and Matt Lindland, where they could be in the back and know at some point I'm going to get called. I'm going to walk out in front of the world and I'm going to have a trained killer come and try to hurt me. And they were excited about it. They looked forward to it. They wanted their name called genuinely, not pretending. They were the kind of competitors that really like to do it. I can only think of those two guys in all my experiences. Everybody else has a constant battle. And that is amongst the first. Can I overcome that? You won't know very many people in your whole life that get in a fight. you might hear people talk about it, but that actually get in a fight. And moreover, when it does happen, it's spontaneous. How did they react in that moment? Were they prepared? Did they just happen that they were more prepared and tougher than the other guy and they all found out together? It would be a very different thing to wait, to make sure everybody knows, to make sure the other guy is prepared. You are prepared. You wait to a specific time and somebody else says go, and they're also going to tell you when to stop. Like, that's really unique. And that tension gets to everybody to a degree. So once you make the walk and once you're in there, you're then having the same voice that tried to keep you out in the first place, trying to get you out of there. And some of the time it will be to hit this guy so hard or apply a hold so effective that he surrenders. But that same voice is coming at you to get yourself hit and or find yourself in a position that you can surrender and just have this over with. It's a very weird battle. And you'll read and you'll hear fighters talk about it all the time, how the greatest battle is myself. My toughest opponent is myself. Well, they're hearing the same voices the gentleman did who was getting his hands wrapped and called in Sean Shelby and said, not the career I want to be in. And it's very hard when you're even putting on an event to know who is going to come and who is going to show up. And you're generally protected after the weigh-in. When you're putting on an event, when you get to the weigh-in, you're going to call names and they're not ever going to come and get to the scale. But generally speaking, if they did show up for that and they do get to the scale, they do make it to the arena for the actual competition. But not always. I was at an event, Rumble on the Rock. BJ Penn's promotion in Hawaii, and a guy came to the venue. After weighing in the day before, he came to the venue. He was there. He had his gloves. He got his shorts, mouthpiece, everything. He escapes the venue, and it turns out to where officials and organizers are chasing after him. And there was something about a fence where he finally got to a fence and had to climb that, and that's where the officials stopped pursuing him, like, I'm not going over the fence. And I remember thinking, why did you go after him in the first place? Like, the second he grabbed his bag and walked out the door, you've got to respect that. The second he started running and a foot chase ensued, you've got to respect. What are you were going to get him and then force him to go in there, or you're going to get him and then talk him down and have him go out and compete? It's one of these things. I know a guy, and I won't tell you his name, who wanted to have a bomb threat called into a building where he was scheduled to fight because he didn't know how to get out of it. It was too late. He'd weighed in, he reported, he heard the sounds, he smelled the smell. He wasn't ready, didn't like how this was going. He wanted a bomb threat to get called in. And that guy, bomb threat guy, is much more common than the Matt Lindland, Chris Lieben, in my experience, that actually enjoyed it, that didn't mind doing it. And I really don't begrudge and Ortiz, the gentleman who was getting his hands wrapped, asked to speak to Sean Shelby, reveal the truth. Sean can now give that spot to somebody else. I really don't begrudge him. I don't question that he's a tough guy. I don't question that he's got the courage. He's got to win over Alex Pierre. I mean, just for example, but at some point, when you fired your last shot or you feel like you don't have the next one and you stand down, it's a peculiar spot. It's embarrassing. It was seen in front of the world, but I can't pile on this guy. I'm not sure if we face the reality here that between the options, which you've only got two, you do the fight, you don't do the fight. Right? I mean, there's not like a third option. You don't kick the can, you don't make something up, you don't delay this to another day and then find an excuse before you get there. You either do the fight or you don't do the fight. And the fact that he took himself out, they respect his decision, get him back to the hotel, get him on an airplane, get him home, give that spot to somebody else. I can't pile on and tease this guy. Given the circumstances, he did the right thing.